Today's episode is brought to you by Chaos Heroes Online. It's a brand new MOBA-style game that right now is in private beta from Area Games, and I've been playing it. That's right, I've been playing a MOBA. Area Games were kind enough to send me their game as part of the sponsorship, and I'll tell you right now that I love it. Love it. Watch gameplay of my exploits on the YouTube video feed right now, and if you're a fan of teaming up with other heroes to do battle and conquer, then this is the MOBA for you. From designers with over a decade of experience designing core MOBA features, this action-packed game will keep you in the fight, and with the ability to gear up in the heat of battle, teleport directly to or from the action, and an emphasis on consumables, Chaos Heroes Online guarantees a new experience for all MOBA enthusiasts. So don't waste another moment and sign up for the beta today. There's a link in the YouTube description, or check out www.chaosheroes-online.com. That's chaosheroes-online.com.
He's getting older.
Hey, welcome to Con Air.
Oh, hit the but not wiser.
Everybody has affinity for cock.
This is the Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Lefty Show. I am your host, Lefty. Glad to be here with all of you today, Wednesday, the 27th of August, in the year of our Spaghetti Monster 2014, for episode number 80 of the Lefty Show. Welcome one, welcome all. I hope to put on a good show for you today. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you to everybody for watching, liking, favoriting, subscribing on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can go to find the show in its YouTube formation. Thank you to everybody that's been following me on Twitter at Lefty643 to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest news and musings. And thank you to everybody that has been sharing the show with friends, family, and coworkers, helping it grow. You can find the show on your mobile device, wherever you get your podcasts, whether you are on Android, iOS, or the iTunes Store, wherever you get your podcasts, just search The Lefty Show. The Lefty Show, you'll find us there. And thank you to everybody that's been donating. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions is where you can do that. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. And thank you to Area Games. If you're watching on YouTube, sponsor for today's show, they got in touch with me, and I've been playing their new MOBA game. It's in private beta right now, and doing a little bit something different today. You're going to see some gameplay of Chaos Heroes Online. This is me playing. This is me trying to learn the ropes of the game, and it's there for your enjoyment and to entice you to go check out www.chaosheroes-online.com. That's chaosheroes-online.com to go sign up for the beta. If you're a fan of MOBA games, this is from a slew of developers that have been developing many MOBA games and been refining the core essence of being a multiplayer online battle arena game. So chaosheroes-online.com, where you can go sign up for the beta and check out the cool gameplay on the YouTube feed, youtube.com/LeftyOX. If you're a listener on iTunes, come on over, check out the Lefty Show episode number 80. You want to see yourself some Chaos Heroes Online gameplay. It's a lot of fun. I've been playing it ever since I got access to it, and I've been having a good time. So I encourage you to check it out. Again, there's a link in the description. There was no show yesterday. I didn't do a show yesterday. I was actually going to an audition of sorts. To see about getting job in the or getting work in the voiceover industry, commercial voiceover stuff. Like, hey, check out Whitehead and their brand new commercial. Obviously, not that over the top, but it's something that I've been. You know, YouTube doesn't last forever, and I know that, and I say it all the time, and I think it's good to be aware of it. It's good to be aware of the fact that, you know, YouTube is a job like any other in the entertainment industry. It can be your best friend, and it can be just a bitch. And sometimes it just sometimes you're on top, sometimes you find a little niche, but most of the time it doesn't last forever. So I I've been told a lot, oh, you've got a voice, you should be doing voiceover stuff. You should be doing radio. And I said, oh, okay. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just a big dumb dope. So I have no formal training in anything like that. Yeah, I've never seen a voice coach or anything like that. But I decided, well, YouTube isn't forever, but it might be worth it to see if it's even possible to make a go of it. I spent a lot of money on audio equipment. I might as well use it in some way, right? So that's what I was doing yesterday, and apparently it went pretty well. I'm told that, by somebody that doesn't have a vested interest in me, not my girlfriend says, oh, you're amazing. Not people that like my content, that may be biased. Not necessarily that they are biased, but, are you biased? I don't know. Somebody completely independent said, oh, yeah, you've got a thing there, big fella. So, I don't know what this means for my future on YouTube. Which is not to say, because I said in a tweet yesterday, I said I'm working on post YouTube stuff, and a few people were like, are you still going to do YouTube? And I said, oh, no, that's not what I meant. This is something to go in the background that will obviously supplement income and perhaps lead to other things. So I'll be doing stuff like, I don't know, maybe I'll post, if I have a professional demo produced, maybe I'll post it here or I don't know, on SoundCloud or something and let you guys listen to it. But that's what I was doing yesterday. That's why no show. It's an interesting world, voiceover. Because, you're reading copy and you're supposed to, in some instances, other times you can just come on down to get Best Buy plasma TVs all on sale, or, watching your neighbor's television on his or watching, March Madness on your neighbor's television on his plasma TV is not the best way to watch a ball game. It's like acting. I've never done it. I mean, there's certain things that are acting, but it's a weird thing because you're just talking. But there are different ways you learn or you are directed to do different, put different inflection here or, okay, well, that was good. You ended on an up note with that. Okay, well, let's try to turn it down now. Let's be trending down as you finish that sentence. All that stuff. It's a really interesting way to speak because I've read copy before. I did it before the show. I've done that, but it's nice, honestly, to be doing it in a professional setting and then have somebody else say, yeah, that was really good. That was good. And, anybody can just read copy and be, oh yeah, it's good. But to have somebody say, you've got the instincts for when to do this and all that, it was honestly kind of nice. I mean, I paid, but still, that was before I paid. I guess that makes it worse then. Damn it. So you may, if you've got a company and you want voiceover work done, hit me up on Twitter or something. We'll see if I can, get you a discount rate, get you that hometown discount. The guy's been spending a lot of time with a sports team in a city for many years, and his contract comes up. They say, can we get a hometown discount? Which I always thought was like a little bit odd because Jay Cutler comes to mind. Is Jay Cutler going to give the Bears a hometown discount? And I thought, well, Jay Cutler isn't from Chicago. He's from Santa Claus, Indiana. Which Santa Claus. He's not from Chicago. I mean, he grew up a Bears fan apparently, but who cares? Hometown discount. It seems like a silly term that people throw around. Oh, hometown discount. Are you from here? No? Oh, all right. Speaking of sports, I was I was on the road a lot yesterday, and I had the chance to listen to some sports radio. And I'm going to play you a clip here from an ESPN report. Now, this might get it flagged. This might get this video flagged by ESPN. I don't know if that's smart, if I should do that. Damn it. You know, because this is the first time the show's had like a real sponsor. And I don't want to... This is probably the worst time for me to be cavalier. Just, yeah, screw it, play it. Come after me, ESPN. Normally I say I welcome the big guys, the big dogs coming after me. You know, I welcome in reporting on news or doing a news segment and playing something relevant to it, which may be copyrighted, trademarked, owned by somebody else. But in reporting of the news, I can, that's fair. That's a fair use. That's a subset of fair use. I can use it. I can recreate or reproduce without your express written consent, NFL, your copyrighted material, your owned material, and monetize it. And I can monetize. That's how news organizations get away with playing YouTubers' videos. They don't have to contact YouTubers if they're talking about news, they're reporting something on the news. Now you get into a weird thing if they're just using it as B-roll. But if the story is the YouTube video, well, they play it. This is news. I mean, you can't have owners of copyrighted material going after people that are just trying to disseminate news and information for other people. That would be a bad thing. So when I do the news segment on this show, or I'm talking about something relevant, I don't think it's a violation of copyright to play even something that's owned, copyrighted by somebody else. I'm not violating, even though I may be violating the letter of copyright law, or the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, even though I may be doing that, I'm not violating the spirit of it, because the spirit, the intent of copyright protection is to protect the right of the copyright holder of profiting from their work. Dissemination doesn't necessarily mean that they're not able to profit from it. Again, you could make the argument that that if I report it in a news story and I present it unfavorably, that my use of that copyrighted material has in fact hurt the ability of the copyright holder to profit from their work. Okay, now we have a question of whose right should win. What supersedes what? My reporting of news, or not necessarily mine, because I'm not strictly speaking a news outlet. A news outlet reporting the news, is that more important? Is that better for the public than the general idea of you have the absolute right to profit from your work for a certain period of time and can shut down anybody else profiting from it or hurting you? I'd say the reporting. So usually I welcome. I'm like, come on, come and get me. I'd take you all on. Bring it on. Because, of course, you know, YouTube, I'm in an area or I'm on a platform that can be very easily abused. YouTube's copyright content ID system is just, it's awful. Awful. Absolutely god-awful. Just, it's there for one reason, to make sure that it's very easy. Here's the reason why it's very easy for somebody who may not even have copyright on what they are claiming. Here's why it's very easy to abuse the system to that level. Here's why it's very easy for, even if I have copyright of something, even if it's used in fair use, I can just go to YouTube and say, that's mine, take it down. And YouTube, like a loyal dog, goes, okay. Now, the reason why that is because YouTube doesn't want to get sued. They already got sued by, I believe, a multitude of music companies coming together to sue them because everybody was uploading and monetizing whole, songs whole cloth. They don't want to get sued. So they just say, okay, well, you issue a takedown notice, whatever, we'll take it down. We don't care. We don't care. Fine, you want to take this down? Poof, done. Take that down? Poof, done. Done, 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 done. And our algorithm will make it very easy. And I'm on a platform where, ESPN hears what I haven't decided if I want to play it yet. ESPN hears that, and they just issue a takedown notice. And it may be, it's probably dumb to play it. I don't know. How big of balls do I have? How big of balls do I have? Do I want to be playing with... I'll read it first. We're talking about sports, and this is from ESPN football reporter Josina Anderson, who is reporting from St. Louis Rams training camp. And they were talking about Michael Sam and his place in the St. Louis Rams locker room. Michael Sam, the first openly gay NFL player. He's out. He's just, I like dudes. That's what I like. And dudes like me. So there we go. Michael Sam drafted by the St. Louis Rams, and ESPN been following him around. I mean, it's a huge media circus surrounding Michael Sam. And the question posed to Josina Anderson was, how is Michael Sam fitting in with Rams teammates? Now, obviously, this was the on-air, the talking head was told to ask Josina this because she had previously been in the locker room asking these questions. And that's an important point to remember. That Josina Anderson, before giving this answer, she was in the Rams locker room asking about this. This is Josina Anderson talking. Another Rams defensive player told me that, quote, Sam is respecting our space, and that from his perspective, he seems to think that Michael Sam is kind of waiting to take a shower as not to make his teammates feel uncomfortable. And she goes on to say that more people, she asked more players about what Sam's shower habits were. And they said, we don't know. We haven't been tracking that. We don't care. That's news on ESPN. What are the showering habits of first openly gay player, NFL player Michael Sam? What's he doing in the shower? How do other players feel about showering with him? And just this, you irreverent bitch. I mean, seriously, Josina Anderson, you irreverent bitch. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you even think to ask about that? What does that, because here's my point. To irreverent bitch, Josina Anderson. How does that make Michael Sam look? How does that make Michael Sam look? If you are asking people about what Michael Sam does in the shower, when he showers, with whom he showers, and how the people with whom he showers feel about showering with an openly gay person, how does that make him look? Does it make him look like just a normal guy? Or perhaps does it imply that there is reason to worry about showering with an openly gay player? Perhaps, maybe it implies just a tad that homosexuals are in some way sexual perverts that are in no way control of their sexual desires. And that's a huge problem. And I'm not saying that you have to like gay people. I'm not saying that. I will defend your right to not like them. Now, there's a point past which you can't just go around doing things based on your dislike of homosexuals, based on your dislike of different races, ethnicities, cultures, religions. You can't. There's a point past which when you externalize your previously inward dislike, distrust, mistrust, hatred, even of people, well, then I got nothing for you. No. I'm going to pay you no mind then. But internally, if you're just like, I don't like them, don't tell me to like them. I say, okay, sure, yeah, I don't like kumquats. Am I supposed to? I don't like watermelon. I don't like it. It's a big summer thing. Everybody is like, oh, watermelons are the greatest thing. Not for me. And people even look at me like, you don't like watermelons? I say, yeah, not the biggest fan of them. Have you even tried them? Yes, I have. No, I don't like them. And that's where it stops. Because if you don't like watermelon, everybody goes, oh, okay, all right. I mean, they may give you a little crap, Like, how can you not like watermelons? This is the greatest thing because I like them. But then you say, well, no, I just don't like them. Please respect that. Oh, okay. Similarly, you don't like homosexuals? All right, well, I don't have a problem with them. And I think you may be your reasoning for disliking them or distrusting them, it's backwards and archaic, but you have a right to be backwards and archaic. And so long as you don't externalize your archaic nature, all right, okay. But even though I'm not saying that you have to like gay people or that you have to trust them but don't go around treating them as though they are sexual deviants. There's still that problem in our society, and here is irreverent bitch Josina Anderson following Michael Sam around and asking players, hey, how did you feel showering? And props to the players. The players should have shut that. The team should have shut that down. I want to know, where's the St. Louis Rams to grab that bitch by her hair? Get the hell out of here. How dare you? How dare you even think to ask that question? Where are the producers at ESPN that were listening in on the headphones and say, you asked them that, and this is what you're going to broadcast up to Bristol? That's what you're going to talk about? You've even asked people that? No. We're pulling your credentials. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here. And that's what the team should pull her credentials. How dare you follow around this NFL player acting as though, even implying that in some way his homosexuality could be a problem in the showers. What are you doing? Look, and if I'm a heterosexual, and the hypothetical single version of me, if I'm showering with other women, because we're talking about sexual attraction here, okay? So Michael Sam is sexually attracted to men. And okay, again, because it's not a choice. I believe that's the current scientific thought. It's not a choice. He is as attracted to men as heterosexual men are attracted to women, or as heterosexual women are attracted to men, or how homosexual women are attracted to other women. It's the same thing. When you look at a woman and go, hey, that's the same way Michael Sam would look at a prospective male partner or a sexual partner. That's the attraction level. That's okay. But if you're by some way you're in unisex showers as a heterosexual male, are you just walking around raping things? Is that what you're doing? Do you have no control over your sexual drive? Are you just, hey, big mama, check this out. Here we go. If you're in there to shower, if you're in a unisex shower at your job, are you just going to run around raping and throwing your penis at women if you're a heterosexual male? No, you're going to shower, and you might be attracted. And Michael Sam may be attracted to people with whom he showers on the Rams team. He might be. I don't know. But he is a normal, rational human. Just because he's attracted to men doesn't mean he loses all social constructs about how to go about pursuing a relationship with somebody. Where does this come from? And we all accept it as okay. That's the worst part, is when this whole Michael Sam thing was going on, people were discussing having a homosexual teammate with other NFL players and amongst themselves, among pundits on TV shows, and they were treating this theoretical homosexual NFL player as though they had no barrier to their sexuality, to being overtly sexual in front of other people. What? Just because they're homosexual doesn't mean that they're just going to be walking around like, oh, well, I'm homosexual, so I can have sex wherever I damn well please. Michael Sam, even if he is attracted to a Rams player, he probably thinks, one, I wonder if this dude is homosexual, and two, even if he is, This is not the time or place to go about pursuing that sexual relationship or that romantic relationship. That homosexuality does not mean that you lose all just idea of being a socialized human and how to form, you lose any idea of how to form relationships of any kind. So shame on Josina Anderson and shame on ESPN for even airing that segment. The ESPN has subsequently apologized. It was just a half-hearted crap apology. But, all right, well, now we know. Now we know, well, Josina Anderson is an irreverent bitch who can't just, oh, well, I'm just going to ask people about with whom Michael Sam showers because that's news. Now we know that despite Michael Sam being the first openly gay player in the NFL, the media, many members of the media are moronic about how they go about covering it. Because it's news to them that, oh, well, you're homosexual, but you don't just walk around with, tumescent penis all the time because you're constantly attracted to men and you don't have any control over your sexual desires or drives. And so you're not just a gigantic homosexual raping machine? No, I'm Michael Sam. I'm just a regular guy. Just a regular guy. All right, before we do some news, show some love to our sponsors. Again, this episode is brought to you by Chaos Heroes Online, a brand new style MOBA game, or MOBA style game, that right now is in private beta from Area Games. I've been playing it, that's right. I've been playing MOBA, been in there with my heroes, going around doing work, doing the Lord's work, really. The Lord's work, I think. Killing things, taking down watchtowers and barracks and whatnot, and just taking down the bad guys. Area Games was kind enough to send me their game as part of the sponsorship, and I'll tell you right now that I love it. Love it. Watch gameplay of my exploits on the YouTube video feed right now. And if you're a fan of teaming up with other heroes to battle and conquer, then this is the MOBA for you. From designers with over a decade of experience designing core MOBA features, this action-packed game will keep you in the fight with the ability to gear up in the heat of battle, teleport directly to or from the action, and with an emphasis on consumables, Chaos Heroes Online guarantees a new experience for all MOBA enthusiasts. So don't waste another moment and sign up for the beta today. There's a link in the YouTube description, or check out www.chaosheroes-online.com. That's chaosheroes-online.com. Let's do some news. We got a lot to talk about in the news today. This is from Pittsburgh. A teen charged in rubber penis waving incident. U.S. court will block lawsuits, or will not block lawsuits, over Connecticut SWAT raid. First-degree felony charges dropped in Pot Brownie's case. And a shooting range instructor from Arizona who was teaching a 9-year-old girl to fire a fully automatic Uzi was fatally shot and killed by the girl during the lesson. It's the news of Lefty. Let's talk about all the news. We'll talk about we've talked about this before. We've talked about the felony pot charges brought against some kid. Now, what this guy did is, or what this kid did was, he made pot, however you make pot brownies, you apparently by some way you get THC distilled into some liquid or some oil, and you use that along with other brownie ingredients to make pot brownies. Now, what happened in Texas was this kid was caught with the pot brownies that were already made, and under Texas law, it is acceptable, or it is common practice to, when you are found with a controlled substance that has been concocted into something else, you are charged with having the controlled substance in an amount that is equal to the total weight of the new product. So this guy took however much THC you use in pot brownies and made pot brownies and made like a batch or two. Well, under Texas law, he is charged with having the controlled substance THC in an amount that is equal to the weight of the finished product. So never mind, he started with only a small amount of this controlled substance. When it was whipped up into a batch of special brownies, the state of Texas looks at the finished weight or mass of the pot brownies and says, okay, well, that's what we're going to charge you with. So this is from KXAN.com. The Williamson County District Attorney's Office on Tuesday dropped the first-degree felony charge against a Round Rock teenager facing a possible life sentence for making and selling brownies laced with hash oil. The felony charges against 19-year-old Jacob Lavoro carried stiff penalties ranging from 5 years to life in prison. We don't want to get bogged down in the distractions, Williamson County Assistant District Attorney Mark Brunner said, adding his office felt they could have gone forward with the case, but did not feel it was worth the time. During a search of his apartment, police said they found several grinders and pipes, hash oil, marijuana cigarettes, loose marijuana, pot brownies, and cookies, and a total of $1,675 in cash scattered throughout the apartment. In total, authorities found a little less than 145.85 grams of hash oil, 16.02 ounces of marijuana, and 660.69 grams of pot brownies and cookies, according to the police report. Lavoro admitted to the authorities he bought marijuana and hash oil, which he then mixed with vegetable oil and cookie or brownie mix to sell pot brownies and cookies for $25 each. During a June hearing, Lavoro turned down a plea deal to a lesser felony charge that would include no jail time if he stayed out of trouble. He is still facing charges for possession and intent to distribute the drugs, a second-degree felony. And now it's good news that the state's attorney is no longer pursuing this first-degree felony, no longer going to try to put this kid in jail for life for a nonviolent drug crime. Just think about that. Think about, again, when we talked about White Boy 7th Street and K-pop and their felony drug arrests. They're out. They're free. They've been tweeting. They've continued on with their lives, and they are going to handle it hopefully well. So good luck to both of them. When I talked about that, I pointed out how White Boy 7th Street and K-pop, two YouTubers, have a felony arrest following them around for the rest of their lives. And I use that to highlight how absurd the war on drugs is and can be. But this takes it to a whole new level. The very idea that charges for a nonviolent drug crime, okay? So this isn't murder. This isn't, you didn't kill anybody. You didn't break anything. You didn't intend to kill anybody. You didn't intend to break anything. You didn't intend to steal anything. There was no violence intended anywhere. Simply by having this controlled substance past a certain amount, our, quote, justice system will look, it's possible. It is even possible to put somebody in jail for the rest of their life. For the rest of their life. Life in prison for a nonviolent drug crime. Nonviolent. You just had a lot of this thing that gets people high. And people like to get high. But you had a lot of it. And we're going to put you in jail for life. Now, is that justice? Think about just your own internal, just think about, I don't even want you to run to a dictionary. I don't want you to run to a dictionary. I don't want you to Google justice. Just think. When you hear the words justice system, and then you hear the words justice system in the following sentence. The justice system seeks to put Lavoro in jail for life for his nonviolent drug crime. Because that's what happened. I don't think that's a sensationalized sentence. Okay, it may have been a little bit. Here, let me try again. Take two. The justice system looked to get Jacob Lavoro. Or no, let me try again. Take three. The justice system would have allowed Jacob Lavoro to go to prison for the rest of his life for a nonviolent drug crime. Okay? That's a sentence. That's as non-sensationalized as I can get. It would have allowed or allowed for a permutation in which Jacob Lavoro goes to prison for the rest of his life for his nonviolent drug crime. Okay? Now, again, no going to look up justice. Just think. Justice system. Would that have been justice? For who? Who would have been protected by the justice that is or would have been Jacob Lavoro going to prison for the rest of his life? Who would that serve? Other than the prison industry. Other than the increasingly privatized prison industry. Who would that serve? Tough on drug crime legislators? Taking some kid who sold pop brownies, breaking the law. Of course it's breaking the law. I'm not trying to say that he didn't break the law. I'm not saying that. But is a kid who makes pot brownies and cookies and sells them for $25 a piece to try to make ends meet or live his life or whatever, Tony Montana without the killing. Do we need, as a society, is it justice to put those kinds of people in jail for the rest of their lives? Or for even an incredibly long amount of time? Even then. Because then I have to ask you, okay, well, it's justice. So now they're in jail for a really long time. What do you think they're like when they get out of prison? They're felons. Jacob Lavoro is still facing felony charges for drug possession with intent to distribute. Felony. You're probably going to go to jail. Good long while. What do you think he's going to be like when he gets out? When you put somebody in prison for a nonviolent drug crime, what do you think they are like when they get out? Are they rehabilitated? Are they, oh, wow, well, I'll never get that again. I'll never do that again. It's time for me to go to college, pick myself up by the bootstraps, maybe learn a trade and get a job. Is that what they think? Okay, let's assume they do. Can they do it? Or is it more likely that they come out, man, that was some crap. I need to go find a joint to get high. And screw it, I've already got a felony. I've already done time for a felony. I am a felon. Where am I going to get a job? How am I going to get a job? I don't want to, and the kind of jobs I can get as a felon, I don't want to work. I will make more money going back to selling drugs. Buying, possessing, and selling drugs. Don't you think that's likely? When you make felons of people who just have a lot of something, or even sell, and again, break the law, enough is enough. I mean, it should be absurd. Anybody that reads that, oh, wow, this guy could have gone to jail for life. Anybody that reads that should go, wow, we should really stop this war on drugs thing. This is absolutely ridiculous. How do we even think that this is right or okay in any way, shape, or form? It's not. It's not right. Now, here's what else needs to happen. Okay, I'll give you two options. We can, one, end the war on drugs completely. Demilitarize the police. No more prosecutors writing drug warrants to search suspected drug users or terror suspects. No more militarized police force serving drug warrants, searching or no knock and whatever. None of that crap anymore. None of it. No more of it. Or completely get rid of minimum sentencing requirements. Completely, in every sense of the term. And that means for murder, that means for sexual assault. That means child pornography. That means all kinds of sex crimes, all kinds of other crimes. Completely, and utterly remove all minimum sentencing. Get rid of it. Give some power to a judge, and let a judge decide. All right, well, you were found guilty of this crime. All right, Jacob Lavoro, you're a first-degree felon. You were found guilty of this first-degree felony. Let's say the state's prosecutor actually did think it worth the time, which is crap. But okay, that's what you want to do. Okay, you're guilty. Well, you're nonviolent. All you've really been doing is selling marijuana, which, again, is still against the law. 2 years probation. Done. For a felony? For a felony? Yes, for a felony. Yes. Because if you can't have the increasingly harsh punishments and the minimum. You can't have both. You can't have, well, it's a minimum if you get caught this DUI. It's a minimum this, minimum that. If White Boy 7th Street, second offense, minimum 1 year in prison if he's found guilty now. And I said, why would it, in any just world, again, justice, a judge will, okay, this is your second offense because you like to get high. No, you had a lot this time, huh? Well, no, you don't go to prison for that. You are not a person that needs to be taken off the streets for the betterment of society. No more of this minimum crap. We need to get rid of it. So, either end the war on drugs completely because it's patently absurd. It's resulted in patently absurd sentencing guidelines. 5 years to life in prison for nonviolent drug crimes. Sam Hurd, ex-wide receiver for the NFL Chicago Bears, is facing life in prison for trying to become a drug kingpin in Chicago. Nonviolent, just had a lot of drugs on him. It's resulted in patently absurd consequences and sentencing guidelines like that, or completely remove sentencing guidelines. That's what you get. You can have one or both, but you can't, or one or the other, but you can't have both. You cannot have both the war on drugs and minimum sentencing guidelines. It just can't happen. You can continue to be tough on crime. You can continue to say, oh, we're going to crack down on violence, sexual assault, this and that. But we're not going to completely ruin people for nonviolent, non-injurious offenses. Now, speaking of sexual assault, this comes by way of Katie, actually. She was telling me yesterday about there's a new researchers from, I believe, North Carolina State University have developed, they say, nail polish that reacts visually with GHB and other, quote, date rape chemicals. So if there are theoretically, the application would be in a bar setting, if somebody slips a Spanish fly, what else are they called? GHB, date rape, any kind of those incredible barbiturates into your alcoholic drink or into your drink at a bar, if you're wearing this fingernail polish and you stir it, your fingernail polish will react visually, and you go, oh, well, there's something in here that I don't want. I don't want to touch that. Now, that's cool in and of itself. I like it. It's actually a really, really cool idea, and will probably go a long way in protecting women and perhaps even preventing some sexual assault, rapes, all that bad stuff, even death and murder. But apparently there were people, of course, all on the internet saying, well, we could do this, or we could just tell men to not rape people, or that, yeah, I mean, yeah, we could do this, or we should just stop the rape. Then people honestly saying we should not It's not on women to stop sexual assault. Somebody actually said that. It is not on women to stop sexual assault. And I just, you're going to make me sound like a pro-rape guy, but yes, it is. I mean, which is not to say that that rape doesn't occur because women want it, but if you are in a position to protect yourself from something being done to you, well, you bet your ass you should do it. If it's reasonable, which is not to say, oh, you should wear a chastity belt and never leave your house, because that's unreasonable. But if the protection is reasonable, like wearing nail polish, that if you believe you are in a bar, if there's a rash of druggings at in your college town, that happened a few times when I was in school. I saw that. Girls would. There was a lot of talk that, it was in the paper. A rash of drugs, of women going to the hospital because something was slipped to them. And oh, crap. It's dangerous to be a woman. Holy crap. Like, this is, because I saw the emergency telephone systems all throughout campus, and I said, what would that even be? But then there in black and white in the paper, and even a guy I knew, his girlfriend had to go to the hospital because something was slipped in her drink that she didn't know. And I thought, holy crap, it's dangerous being a woman in certain settings. Mother of God. This is a danger that when have I had to ever worried about being raped? I mean, I'm a decent looking guy, I think, once in a while, my temple has seen better days, of course. But I've never had to worry about being raped. I don't think. I mean, it's never been something in my mind. It's never been something somebody told me, like, look, you better be careful because there are people out there right now that really want to rape you. Like, they want some good old-fashioned rape. That's what they want to do that to you, and they're going to come get you. I've never had to worry about that. And I saw it there again. Wow. And so, yes, it is dangerous. There are men. We talked earlier about Michael Sam and how dare ESPN and that reporter treat him as though he's or even approach treating him as though he's just some sexual robot who can't control himself. Some monster just, oh, well, I see you're a man and I like men, so come over here and just, let me touch you. But there are men out there who are deviants. There are people out there who are sexual deviants, not just men, but specifically talking about rape committed on a woman. There are men out there who are willing to go so far as to commit a crime to satisfy their sexual pervertedness. And they'll do it. And to even say that it is not on women, there should not be any kind of movement or encouragement of women to protect themselves is incredibly stupid. How stupid do you have to be to say, well, you shouldn't protect yourself from this crime, from this looming danger, from this possible danger? That's like saying, you shouldn't have to wear your seatbelt because screw it. No. It's on you to not hit me. I shouldn't have to wear my seatbelt. Screw you. Just don't hit me then. Just don't run into me at 45 miles an hour when I'm stopped. You better hope. You better hope. Otherwise, you're going to get screwed. So, again, saying that, asking a woman, well, were you asking for it? There's definitely some very negative connotations surrounding that in today's society. Well, was she asking for it? Yeah, violent rape is violent rape. But again, I don't think saying, hey, this is a reasonable measure you can take to protect yourself. again, which is not to say that rape is going to cease being illegal, is going to cease being a crime. But here's something you can do that will protect yourself. That will, I'm not going to look down on you or say, well, you could have done this, but you didn't because you didn't have the special nail polish on. But here's something, it's reasonable. Okay, I'm not saying just don't go leave the house and you'll be fine. And if you leave the house, you're asking for a raping. This is just, here's something. It's reasonable. It's a small step. And it will give you another tool to help fight against a possible sexual assault. And to rally against that in any way is just how dumb do you have to be? Or I guess put differently, how anti-male do you have to be to even consider, well, you mean women should be accountable for their own security, or women are accountable for their own safety on some level? On some level, men and women, people are accountable for their own safety. On some level. On some level, pick one. Not like, oh, if you didn't have the special thing, you're just asking to get raped and okay. I mean, that's the harshest level you can have, or you can be at. But at the higher level, well, here's something you can do. It's still illegal to be raped, but I mean, for somebody to rape you, but here you go. Just this will protect you. There you go. To say, well, it's just men should stop raping. Well, yeah, but they're not. I mean, what do you want? Or men could stop the rape. Well, no, they can't. I mean, instances of rape aren't going to stop. It's just not going to stop. You are never, ever, 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 ever going to stop sexual assault or violent sexual assault, because our brains are incredibly complicated things, and people have just weird proclivities, and sometimes it goes to an extreme, and you can have a perfect storm of mommy didn't hug me, and now I have boundary issues, and I just take what's mine, I'm entitled to you, and I have this weird sexual perversion where I like it where you're screaming no. And bam, rape. That's going to happen because people are screwed up. People are screwed up, and it's just going to happen. We can limit it as best we can, sure. But to say, hey, here's this nail polish, girls, maybe you should put it on, is not saying, well, that's it. We've fixed rape. Good. Now we can move on to important things. Now that we've stopped violent sexual assault via this nail polish that reacts to things slipped in your drinks, we can go on to solve real problems in society. That's not what anybody's saying. But hey, here's a tool. There you go. Hopefully you don't get raped now. I hope not. We're still going to try to find the guy if it happens, and it's still illegal, and we're still going to try to put him in prison. But here's something you can do to help yourself. Rallying against that is incredibly stupid. And as we close out the show, head into the home stretch, a U.S. court will block lawsuits over Connecticut's SWAT raid. This is supposedly a landmark court decision. A U.S. federal appeals court has ruled that Connecticut police cannot claim immunity to quash lawsuits seeking millions of dollars in damages from a botched 2008 raid by a SWAT team that severely injured a homeowner and killed his friend. The decision by the U.S. Second Court of Appeals in New York clears the way for a judge to decide whether 5 suburban Connecticut police departments violated the constitutional rights of homeowner Ronald Terabisi by using excessive force. On May 18th, 2008, a heavily armed SWAT team, or Special Weapons and Tactics, unit knocked down Terabesi's door, threw stun flash grenades into his Easton home, and fatally shot 33-year-old Gonzalo Guizan of Norfolk as the two men watched television. Guizan, who was visiting the home, died after being shot half a dozen times. The court ruling here is going to be relied upon in other courts throughout the country, Gary Mastronardi, a Bridgeport attorney who represents Terabesi, said on Tuesday. They set up the parameters that define the extent to which qualified immunity can be asserted by police in SWAT cases. In a 51-page ruling that upholds a lower court decision, the appeals court said the police responded with unnecessary and inappropriate force and, under the circumstances, are not protected by qualified immunity from the lawsuits. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that government officials have qualified immunity against civil damages if their conduct does not violate someone's legal or constitutional rights. The plaintiffs presented evidence indicating that all of the defendants understood that the warrant was for a small amount of drugs meant only for personal use. Gee, how about maybe the war on drugs is absurd. The basis for the officer's entry, in other words, was related to an offense that was neither grave nor violent. The appeals court wrote in a decision released late Monday. The ruling coincides with a rash of cases in which police have been accused of using excessive force. In Ferguson, Missouri, days of sometimes violent protests have followed the death of an unarmed teenager shot by a police officer. The Connecticut raid involved officers from the Easton, Monroe, Trumbull, Darien, and Wilton police departments. It followed a claim by an exotic dancer that she had seen a small amount of cocaine in Terabessi's home. After the raid, police found only a small quantity of drugs and no guns. You see, this is a great ruling. This is fantastic because, this is what falls right in line now with the story we heard about a couple months ago, in which, relying on information from a police informant, a SWAT team was called to a house to investigate a small amount of drugs and maybe guns, and in a no-knock warrant through a flashbang that landed in the crib of a young girl and absolutely mauled her. Just did bad things. And this probably will pave the way for that family to get a lot of money, and that's good. But here's the problem I have, though. That money now, the money that this guy's estate is going to get, the money that that girl's family is going to get and hopefully put away for her or pay for her medical expenses, all that money, who's it coming from? Who's it coming from? The police are going to pay it out. The county will pay it out. The police department, the village, wherever they are, if it's state police, the state will pay it out. Where do they get their money? They get it from the citizens. The citizens are now covering the butcher's bill for an overzealous militarized police force fighting a bogus war on drugs. It's now going to hit the pocketbook of citizens if something else isn't done. And here's the thing that needs to be done. We're going to go after your pensions. And yes, that's money. That's citizens' money anyway. But it's not going to be your money anymore, police officers. You said, hey, coach, chief, come over here. All right, so we're going to kick in this guy's door. I've got my, $5,000 AR-15 and my ceramic body armor and all the things, flash grenades, all this crap. All right, so what are we looking for? We're looking for a small recreational amount of drugs, Sergeant. All right, cool. All right, yeah, let's do this. Oh, okay, so you said, yeah, let's do this? You kicked in that door? You shot people? You shot the guy's dog, messed up his crap, all this stuff? You shot him? All right. You don't have a pension anymore. You got nothing. And we are not going to protect you from the guy coming after your house and your car and your bank accounts. That needs to be the next step. Breaking down some of the wall, or a part of the wall, the barrier that is qualified immunity, is a great step forward. But until the financial onus is removed from taxpayers, it's just superficial. Because, okay, the police hurt people, and the police should pay. But the police don't pay, because it's not the police signing the checks. The police don't lose any real value yet. The next step needs to be, now we're going after your pension money. Now we're going to go after, you got a house? You got a car? Is it paid off? You got money saved away for your little Runts college fund? Now that belongs to these people that you hurt. these people that you violated their constitutional rights. Now, this isn't, oh, it was just, we were on the ground punching him, and he was punching me, and I was punching him, and I finally got him in cuffs, and he had a few bruises and was cut up. No. This next step would be reserved for you. You mean that you had the guy in handcuffs, right? Right. And then what did he do? He spit at you? Yeah, well, he charged me. Okay. He was in handcuffs, right? Yeah. And then you did what? What was that? What happened next? Well, I put him in a chokehold. Okay, so you put a handcuffed suspect in a chokehold. Right. And it killed him? Well, yeah. So you choked him to death. You choked to death somebody in handcuffs. Well, yeah. You no longer have that. What kind of car you drive? You got a nice Buick out there? Yeah. Did you pay off your house? How were you upside down on it? Something? Anyway, that belongs to this guy now. Or at least his estate. This isn't going to be, so you walked up on a crazy black lady that was just walking down the highway and beat the crap out of her. Just started punching her in the face and then got on top of her and punched her in the face some more. Yeah, you don't have anything anymore. You start over. And no more declaring bankruptcy. No declaring bankruptcy. Bankruptcy will not save you from these debts. It's going to this will follow you until you pay it off, officer. You want because look, you want the badge and the gun and the power. Great. There needs to be accountability. And internal investigations, paid leave, suspensions, not making people accountable. And what's more, having the taxpayers foot the bill, the butcher's bill for the dead bodies and the atrocities committed by an overzealous militarized police force, again, is not making the police accountable. The police need to be held accountable, and that comes personally. Personal accountability. Oh, you did? You knew, oh, you were going after a recreational amount of pot, huh? You kicked in the door, you just started shooting people. Because, gun, bam, 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 bam. That's what you were doing? You got nothing, no pension for you, none. And then we're going to put a brick on your paycheck, and it's going to go to pay to the hospital bills that your reckless, unconstitutional actions created. Personal accountability for police officers is what's needed, not taxpayer accountability. All right, let's bring it home. Another great episode of The Lefty Show. I thank you all for joining. I had a great time putting on the show for you. I hope you had a great time listening. Thank you to Chaos Heroes Online and Area Games sponsoring the show. Head on over to chaosheroes-online.com. That's chaosheroes-online.com. Check out the beta, link in the YouTube description. Thank you, everybody, for watching on YouTube, youtube.com/LeftyOX, where you can find the show in its YouTube formation. You can follow me on Twitter at Lefty643. Stay up to date on all the latest and greatest Lefty Show news. Thank you to everybody that's been sharing the show, friends, family, and co-workers. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts on your mobile device, whether you are on the Android system, iOS, or just on the iTunes store. Search The Lefty Show. Be sure to subscribe to the feed, download all the episodes. Thank you to everybody that's been donating. imraising.com/643 Productions. Anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you next time. I'm out. Bye.